Hey guys, in this video, I'll change the water pump on a 2014 Toyota Corolla with a 2ZR-FE engine. The engine type is printed on the sticker under the hood, and the procedure is different on eco models. To start, the car was cooled down completely first, and then the coolant was drained. To see how I did that, check out the coolant replacement video, which I'll have linked up in the cards. After draining the coolant, I removed the serpentine belt, and I'll also have that video linked up as well. Now to remove the water pump, I'll remove the 5 bolts holding it in using a 12mm socket. 3 of the bolts are shorter like this one, and 2 are longer, so make sure to remember this when reinstalling them. Also make sure to remove only the water pump bolts. The other bolts that are nearby are for the timing chain cover, and they should not be removed. So I removed 3 bolts from the bottom, and now I'll remove the remaining 2 from the top. And here's the last bolt. Once it's loose, coolant will drain out, so make sure to have a drain pan underneath. I'll hold the pump so it doesn't fall down, and remove the bolt completely. So the pump will come out through the top, but I had to struggle a bit because there isn't that much space, so removing it from the bottom would actually be a better idea. Next, I'll remove the gasket. I'm just gonna pry it out using a small screwdriver, making sure not to scratch the metal. And now, I'll clean the gasket groove to make sure the new gasket seals properly. And the back of the water pump should also be completely clean to get a good seal. And once it's clean and dry, I'll give it a final wipe with a clean cloth. Next, I'll install the new gasket, and I'll start by lining up the bump on the bottom left with the cutout in the timing chain cover. And I'll push the rest of the gasket in, making sure it's seated all the way down in the groove. Next, I'll install the new pump. For a high-quality water pump, check out the link down below in the video description. And here's the length of the bolts and their position. There are 2 longer bolts on the top left, and the other 3 are shorter. And now I'll put the new pump in. When guiding it in, make sure to keep the pump blades away from the gasket to avoid damaging it. And once I have it lined up, I'll start the top bolt by hand. Now I'll start the rest of the bolts by hand. Never use power tools. They should only be started by hand, and the final torque should be applied with a torque wrench. So I tighten them as far as they'll go in by hand. Now I will tighten them lightly with a ratchet using a star pattern. Each bolt should be tightened in even increments to ensure the gasket is squeezed down evenly. And now I'll torque them down to specification using a torque wrench, again using a star pattern. To avoid over-tightening, make sure the torque wrench is properly calibrated, which can be checked using a digital torque adapter. I'll have a link to a digital torque adapter and a high-quality torque wrench in the video description. And here's the torque for the water pump bolts for 2012 and later 2ZR-FE engines. So the water pump is reinstalled now. The next steps will be to reinstall the serpentine belt, refill the coolant, then bleed the air out of the cooling system, and check and adjust the belt tension. If you found this video useful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Your support is really appreciated, and consider subscribing to my channel. I'll be posting more videos in the future. Thanks for watching!